I've never seen Ahmed like this.
Yeah.
I've never seen you like this.
Last night, part of me was like, I'm going to come in and just start letting it fly. Like F-bombs, S-bombs.
Oh, yeah, new season, new Ahmed Fareed. That's right, we're back. If you thought the Olympics on Peacock were big, you have no idea. This guy's job started right here on Chris Sims Unbuttoned. We've made him into the man he is today. Not true, but we'll go with it for now. What's up, man? Good to see you.
Oh, my gosh.
Man, it's been too long.
It has been too long.
I missed you. You're looking good.
I missed you. Thank
Damn,
you.
my hair looks good. You look so French. I mean, perfectly groomed, like French facial hair, little chest hair popping out now. Damn, you really went all French on me, huh?
I've become Parisian.
Yeah,
3 weeks there, I've become Parisian.
One
Started
extra
smoking.
buttons down now. Wow,
Yeah.
we're really. He's got the Paris stuff.
This is the Paris
still.
logo.
Yep.
And I know you don't like logos.
Yeah.
You're like, come
well,
on,
you
company
love
man.
company
I
logo
do like
stuff.
that.
You love it. I've never seen a guy that loves free clothes more than you.
Yeah, but I'm like, you can't wear this stuff that much after the Olympics. I know you. It's like, but
yeah,
it's like you got to use it now.
Yeah, like you got a few more weeks.
Yes,
I feel like
exactly.
once it turns like into fall, like no longer
Like you're
are
living
you
in the
allowed
past,
to.
dude.
Yeah,
It's
right.
football
Close
season.
The yearbook. Let's get on with life. Noah Lyles, all that's done. We're here to talk about Tyreek Hill and football now.
Correct. It was a blast.
I bet.
It was cool. It feels like it's been forever since I've done this podcast because we had the hiatus and then we had the Olympics.
It has been forever.
Listen to you and Connor go back, like two encyclopedias going back and forth. Chat GPT is talking about
I had to do the
football.
first one last week by myself.
Yeah.
Right?
Which you can handle pretty well.
Which I can
still.
handle, but it's work doing that, right?
Yes.
I missed you being here. That's for sure.
I missed you too, but it was crazy. Being in Paris was awesome.
Yeah.
It was just a different city, and you're speaking. I tried to speak the language. I did Duolingo for 6 months. It got me nowhere.
Yeah.
It got me to bonjour.
Right.
Merci.
How many times did French
it.
people just kind of crap all over you for not being able to speak enough French?
See, I think they did. I couldn't tell that they were doing that.
You could tell by the attitude and the look that you were probably getting.
When they looked at each other, that's when I started to have
Right.
ideas that they were making fun of me. But yeah, I couldn't tell directly. But no, it was like the whole thing was awesome because there were very few complaints about the coverage, about the Olympics. I think people were into it.
It's one of the best Olympics I can remember.
I was into it too.
It's one of the best I can remember. It really is. I don't know whether it was the setting, just everything. I love turning it on every night, watching Tarico on the 8 p.m. show, right? I'd get to you eventually somewhere in there.
If you had time.
No, I did. I got to you. My Aunt Wendy always keeps me up to date with where you are, what's going on.
Good.
So that is for sure. Fries. We sick of them? We still good? I've had a few people that have come back and they're like, they serve fries with everything over there. I'm actually sick of French fries.
I didn't know that.
No.
I actually thought French fries was just one of those terms that we made. It's French fries.
Are
but they
you
don't even...
serious? Of all the things you know and don't know, you just thought French fries were just one of those things.
Well,
they didn't really eat them a lot?
Like Canadian bacon. That.
Right.
They don't call that. They call that ham in Canada.
Right.
We just made that Canadian bacon. So I thought this was similar.
But they eat
French
it
fries.
nonetheless. You didn't think they ate the fries over
No,
there?
I didn't know that. You're right. They are super popular there. You get a steak, you get fries. You get anything, you get fries.
Sounds my kind of place, man. Right?
It's
there.
just like they go. You don't want vegetables, do you? No, fries, right? Yes, fries.
Right.
We'll
it shows
get that.
you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
it was good, and
So
crepes everywhere, and all that stuff. So no, it was awesome. It was cool. Now we're done.
Yeah.
And now we're on to football
It's
season.
football,
And I
baby.
even thought that when I was there. So I think there's a picture. I tweeted it out.
Oh, you
It
did?
was like the last day.
Yeah,
that we
last
were
day, you finally thought about me again. You're like, okay,
I was
I'm
thinking
gonna
about you
have
the
to
whole
see him.
time. I brought that shirt with me to a foreign country and wore it.
That's amazing. And they let you through customs.
And they
with
let
it,
me
huh?
through customs.
So where are you at right there? I mean,
So
I know you're in front
we're
of the
outside
Eiffel Tower.
our TV tower, which
Okay.
was is the Eiffel Tower in the background, yes, and it's the TV tower where one of our sets, where Tarico did kind of like that daytime live show, and where I was doing my shows, and so that was right there, and we had a great view of the Eiffel Tower in the background. So.
Great set. We're not as popular in France as we are in England. So.
You're right. Sometimes I think we're more popular in England than we are in America.
We might be. We might be.
So it was cool, and I'm happy to be back, and I'm so happy, and I wanted to show this to you. I wanted to make a song to commemorate coming back to you and being together again.
Okay, you got a song, and you did this all yourself, or did you use your Chat GP write a song for
every
me?
piece of technology I could muster to get this back together, make a song is what I did here. So John Ardell says, "Thank you for telling me about his song plans, because we did tweet this out that this was coming.
Right.
On Playing Tomorrow, I'll make sure my dogs stay out of earshot." So this is not me singing this, as I said, as you're correct to assume. Every piece of technology was used to make this song. So. Here is the return song.
Okay.
Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
My name is Chris Sims, and it's time to go. My co-host, Ahmed, is a lovely fellow. He's never watched a movie or listened to songs, and I'm not even sure he's ever seen a bong. Keen is our guy, the producer on staff. You know when he's coming, just by his laugh. Welcome to the show, welcome to the scene. The only podcast with two hosts, one spleen. The team size is through, let's assemble the crew. We're back on the mic, everything is right. Kristen and Pete, Gabby and Morgan's tweets. Ahmed's back from abroad. Let's make this pod. Let's make this pod. Let's make this pod. Let's make this pod.
Yeah, let's make this pod.
Let's make
baby.
this pod.
Look at that right there. So that is totally technology AI.
It took a while to get it right.
Right.
There's some tweaks that had to happen along the way.
Right.
Some styles that had to be changed.
Right.
I wrote the lyrics, so the lyrics are all me.
All right, good. I'm disappointed by two things.
What?
You didn't have one swear? No. Not one cuss word?
No.
I mean, what the
I don't even make computers do that.
Oh,
I don't do that.
Apparently.
That's where I draw the
and
line.
then country? You had to pick country
I know.
music?
It was the only thing that really fit with
I mean,
it.
it's like, I don't want to say I don't hate country, but it's
I
just
know.
like my least favorite.
It was like old school kind of country.
Yeah,
I know.
But okay. All right. We'll deal with it. We like to deal with all cultures and things here on this football podcast. So no doubt.
Two hosts,
But
one
well
spleen.
done.
I do contend it might be the only podcast.
I
Two hosts,
probably
one
need to
spleen.
listen to it again, too, just to hear a few other words. It was hard, but
Yes.
well done by you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for contributing something to the pod here the last few
And
weeks.
now I'm
Appreciate
done
it.
because I just found out that there were preseason games like 20 minutes ago. So now that's all I can contribute.
We got lots to talk about right here today.
So we do, and Pete is on vacation right now. Matt Casey is back there. Kristen's back there punching the buttons with Kelsey. We got Gabby, Alex, Mackenzie as well. The team is back together. We have a packed show because we do have all of your insights from preseason week number 2. We're gonna unveil the Wowometer, or as some people call it, the Wowometer.
The Wowometer, the Wowometer. I don't know what you want to go with there. It's a tough one.
So we're going to do that.
Yep.
We're going to do a little bit what the F is happening. Because you're puzzled by some teams, what they're doing and what they're not doing.
Yes, right. The approach.
So that's all we got. And we got a lot of homies.
Yeah. I mean,
homies.
I feel like I saw everything this weekend for the most part. I mean, everything that was anything worth seeing and what you needed to do. You know, I'd say this is where I do love this time of the year. I just kind of like tell everybody, no, I can't do this. I can't do that. There's games on, and this is my life. And I sit there and watch them, and got one on the TV, one on the computer, and I text my wife all my notes all day long. So her phone's like blowing up with stuff, but and then I at some point forward them to you guys, and we get after it. But I think there's a lot of really interesting things to talk about throughout the NFL.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
The Wowometer.
Yeah.
And we begin with Caleb Williams, Chris Becker. As a Bears fan, I was wowed by the highlight plays from Caleb, but we still saw 3 straight 3-and-outs to start the game. Do you have a sense of what went wrong to start?
Yeah, I do. I was watching closely. But first off, you got to remember early on preseason, the teams are trying not to be too creative. I certainly don't get the sense that Chicago is game planning stuff or anything like that. They ran a few basic plays early on, and the D they were all over it, right? I think that's really all I would say. I didn't look at it and go, oh, man, Caleb's making bad reads, and oh, man, this guy's open and he missed the throw. Like, it wasn't like that, right? Yeah. There was one play where I would say Caleb Williams in the 2 games, he was kind of moving in the pocket, and he probably had time to set up and just throw it in there. And he kind of was like on the move, and it looked like he almost tripped a little bit, and he tried to throw it with his feet all cockeyed and whatever else, and he missed Rome Odunze like on the left sideline. But other than that, I just went, hey, it's basic offense, it's preseason football, and they didn't execute the way they should. Was it perfect there early on? No, it was not. I get that the 3 and outs and not getting anything going, but here's the encouraging thing about it, right? And different from other guys. First off, they're coming out throwing one way or another, which tells you, hey, not only are they building this guy up and they want him to take over, but I think it also shows their trust in him a little bit. Here's the other thing I think that's positive to take away from this. What was the talk about Caleb Williams coming in to the NFL, other than his pink nails? I mean, because that blew half the NFL's heads off right there.
Yeah.
The quarterback could have pink nails.
Yeah.
But, right, was the turnovers. To me, that was the other, too careless, a little too Mahomesy and looking for the big plays at time, right? All of that. That, to me, was encouraging in the game. Cincinnati, they weren't playing their starters, but they had a lot of good high-level backups in. There were still some secondary players that are very good in there, right? I thought the positive thing was that he didn't force anything or try to, oh man, I'm my first game in front of the home fans, right? And I need to make something happen. I'm impatient. We went 3 and out, 2 in a row. So let me make something happen now. And he continued to be consistent and patient, and that's going to serve him well because I think this Bears team, it does have a great defense. He doesn't need to make big plays, but on the wow meter, I mean, when he gets going and does things, it's a 9, it's a 10 on the wow meter. I mean, he's out Mahomesing Mahomes as a rookie. I mean, not even Mahomes is doing this in his first preseason game. See, it shows you the evolution of Mahomes and what he does for a kid who's growing up and watching it and doing this, right? But, I mean, if that's not the closest thing you've seen to Mahomes, then I don't know what is, right? As far as whether it's the running to the left, big throw down the left sideline to Odunze, right? The scramble, absolute laser beam into the back of the end zone where Odunze just kind of lost track of where he was. And then to follow it up the next play with the whirl out, stop, go back the other way. Oh, wait, he's going to make a throw. Oh, throw it. Oh, he ran in. I mean, again, he's got great feel. He's got great ability. Yeah, we know there's some nuance and polish that got to continue to get better.
Yeah.
Question there. But regardless, how could you not be impressed during the 2 starts? First one, he was a little more surgical with a lot of wow. This one wasn't as surgical, but even more wow. And to me, my thoughts. The game, for the most part right now, is about wow and changing field position with big plays and touchdowns off of big plays and all that. And, man, I like what I see a lot from Caleb Williams.
His escapability
Yeah.
is Mahomesian because it doesn't look like he doesn't look like the fastest guy. He's not a Kyler Murray out there. He's not a Justin Fields.
Right.
But no one can tackle him. And you saw it in college, and now you're seeing it already in the pros in the preseason. And I do think that it's funny you bring up that point, the wow. This is the wow meter.
Yeah.
Consistency is obviously important, right? You want to be consistent. You don't want to make those mistakes. But are you looking for in the preseason, for quarterbacks especially, like plays that he can make that other people cannot make?
Yes.
And if you're going to make mistakes, it's best to make them now in the preseason anyway, when you can still learn from them.
Yeah, you don't want to make mistakes. You get that. But, I want to see, some specialness. What are we going to expect? How are you going to be able to change the dynamic of a game with your ability? Let alone, to me, what's even more important is how the games are called. And see, this is 2 weeks in a row where you can really tell, they
trust him.
They trust him. He's the starting quarterback. There's not training wheels on, right? I mean, I know there is to a degree, but not what you would see from a normal rookie, I guess is what I'm saying.
They don't think he'll look bad.
I don't think so. To me, it looks like they're developing and going, wait, we feel like we could put a lot on this kid's plate here early on in the year. We don't have to run the ball on first, run the ball on second, hopefully get a first down on third down, but if not, we're going to punt and play that game. They kind of have more the sense here through 2 games from what I've seen is no, they expect to attack, right? And again, I think this was a good test for them. Again, I know it wasn't the starters for the Bengals, but there's still some good players out there. They do some things that are creative, the Bengals, on the defensive side of the ball. It was a little choppy to start, but as we saw as the game went on, he made some plays, and I'm just excited for Caleb Williams overall.
Matt King says, wow-o-meter to Mr. Williams, dude is special. He goes, wondering what the pecking order will be between DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze. I think Odunze overtakes Allen pretty quick due to his chemistry with Caleb.
I wouldn't be shocked by that. There's no question DJ Moore, right, is the guy. That's we know for sure. He will be the featured guy because DJ Moore is got a skill set that the other two don't. DJ Moore's the guy. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit your computer.
First time's okay. Second time, you're gonna have to pay for that.
I'm in big trouble. I know. So, but like DJ Moore, you always hear me talk about him and wax poetically. He's a guy that can catch a screen pass and run for 70, or just beat you with pure speed right over the top for a 70-yard bomb. So they will feature him. But now you got two other guys who can. Hey, Odunze can certainly stretch the field. Mm-hmm. He's almost a tweener between DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. It's like he's got a lot of Keenan Allen in him, but he's got a little bit more maybe verticality and speed that way. And they'll find the right mix there. But, I think if that O-line can play the way it kind of looked at the end of the year last year and do that with DeAndre Swift, the running back, and the tight ends, I think this Bears team, I said this today at Florio, if you, I know this isn't but if you made me pick a team who could be the Houston Texans of last year, and a quarterback that could maybe do what C.J. Stroud did to a degree, and that's high, praise we're talking about.
Yeah,
it would be this group right here. I think it's set up with the talent around them. The defense is damn good, and of course the player himself, I think, is super talented too.
Yeah, and it's for them. It's right. They got this excitement around Caleb Williams, but they also Eberflus, and you noted this in your comments.
Thank you for leading me there.
He knows that this is a year for him.
They're exactly. This could be it. Right? And I really saw him take control of his football team at the halfway point last year, and I get that feeling again, this year. There's real urgency there. They played a lot of starters on both sides of the ball, right? He knows his ass is on the line. He knows he's in a good division, right? We'll talk about it like we talked about with the Chiefs. He knows he can't around in September going, well, we'll try to figure out who we are here the first 3 or 4 games. The season could be over by that point where you're like, oh, no, we're way behind the 8 ball in the playoff chase. So I like their approach so far, and they do seem like an organization with urgency and some hunger.
Not as much
belief.
They definitely have belief.
Yeah.
Not as much urgency with the Washington Commanders. They're starting that rebuilding, new head coach there, new quarterback, just seeing what they have here. What they have seems to be pretty impressive.
Hey, I mean, Steady Eddie, awesome, looks the part, right? Such a natural, easy thrower, right? Like Caleb, I mean, can run easily too. He's a more gifted straight-ahead runner than Caleb, right? I don't know anybody who scrambles as good as Caleb, but sitting there watching that game, a lot of the same things that I will say, right? He was a little more efficient. They played a little bit more, hey, just spread it out, get it out, blah, blah, blah. The Bears didn't necessarily do that, and it led to some incompletions early on. But you could tell comfort level is real. You could tell, he knows what he's seeing, and he's comfortable within his offense to just let it rip. And then, as you always hear me say, he's just such a natural thrower. It's easy for him. He gets the ball. There's no hitch in his giddy up. It pops out of his hand the right way, right? He might not have some of the wow plays we've had from Caleb Williams to this point, but he was a little bit more consistent and surgical the other day. That's for sure. But nonetheless, showing what we're talking about, Caleb. No doubt, this is the guy. He fits. He belongs. He's the man. They got something there, right? I don't think they're overly as talented as the Bears are overall, but they got weapons at receiver. We'll see the O-line. The defense certainly has some spots that I worry about. But all in all, I mean, how could the Commanders not be pumped about what they got at quarterback? Hey, they're just certain guys. You see them on the field. You don't need a ton of I'm not like, well, I need to see another game to see if Jayden Daniels and Caleb Williams fit in the NFL. These are two guys where it's after play 10, you're kind of like, they're good. How good are they going to be this year? We know they're starting and they're going to be good, but it's not are they going to be 22nd best quarterback in football, or are they going to be 10 or 12 or something like that? And they have the potential, and I also think they have the mentality and the maturity to be that as well.
That go ball that he threw in college that was so successful
right?
seems to be working in the NFL, at least with a few times he's thrown it in these preseason games. PJ Lopez 58 chimes in.
What up, PJ?
Lopez 58. I watched Jayden Daniels. He called him Jaylen Daniels. That's all right. We'll learn. And between the two, Daniels looked much better than Caleb.
Well, like I said, he had a more efficient day. It was a little more surgical that way, right? So it blended that. It certainly, I can understand what he's saying there. Now, did he wow like Caleb does? yet? No. Not quite to that capacity, but still really good. And this is the things we talked about. This kid can play quarterback. He really can. And him being in a system like this and similar in college, I think is only going to help him here because he's just going to feel that much better about where he is, and it's easier for them to give him the keys to the franchise.
Wowometer with Caleb, you gave him, what, a 9 or 10?
I think, 9 or 10.
9.5.
Yeah. It was
Don't give him the 10 yet.
Yeah, okay, you're right. 9.5.
Okay.
Right? I'll give the 9 here.
Daniels 9.
The only thing he's missing is that first game. I wish he would have played a little more, but he threw that beautiful go route down the right sideline like you talked about. But it's the effortless throwing motion. It's the ability to put the ball exactly where he wants, right? He had a few throws where it's like, the defender was kind of breaking on it, and he throws it like a low and outside so he knows the defender can't get to it, right? He's nuanced like that. That's what I like. Plays big, plays tall, and we saw, again, the touchdown run in the first week and a run or two the other night, and that's going to even become more and more of a weapon as he continues to go here. But I love what I'm seeing from Jayden Daniels. Thoroughly impressed.
Yeah.
Right? Different than last year, where it was like, well, the number 2 pick looks really good, but the number 1 I'm not sure about, right? This is it. Number 1 and number 2, It's like 1 and 1A. They are ballers, and I'm pumped for what their rookie seasons could end up being.
Still to be seen, though, once we really get into the regular season, you want to temper the expectation. That's why you gave him a 9.5 to Caleb.
Right.
And with Jayden, his size, too, was a concern, and so we'll see.
Yeah.
Once
but for
all the big guys get out there. But
it's
he's passing the test right now.
Yes, it is.
As you move down in the list of quarterbacks that were taken in the draft, we get to Drake Maye. And Addy M27 has some concerns. He goes, Drake Maye looked concerning. Showed flashes, but the consistency on throws past the intermediate range is not there. You can't run an efficient offense on just screens, running the ball, and quarterback runs, which is what the Pats are doing. Got to stress different parts of the field. Do you see it the same way?
Well, read our next guy now.
M27.
Yeah.
Ryan J. 7800 says, Drake Maye going to have you apologizing by week 8. Oh, so a totally different opinion.
Right.
Will you be apologizing by week 8 from what you've seen in preseason game 2?
This is what annoys me about media coverage, the NFL, and all of that, right?
And Ryan J. 7800.
Well, yeah, I like you, Ryan J. 7800, but I don't agree with you there. And listen, if I am, I hope I am. As I always say, I'm not rooting against these kids. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing and my concerns. I, by no way, shape, or form, Ryan J. 7800, think that Drake Maye performance was good at all. I'm sorry. And again, see, this is where the national media drives me crazy because they just they show one play or him running in the end zone and they're like, Drake Maye's ready to take over the New England Patriots.
Well, Brissett had a bad interception. Right. And so then you're like, all right, well, maybe we want something different.
I know.
Right?
Now,
or something new.
I got you. And I understand they're hungry for that and want that. I understand it. He's not ready. Again, for the second week in a row, he showed me he's not ready. Jacoby Brissett did okay. His interception, okay, it was tough. It was a tough play, and he tried to squeeze it in there. New England's saying all the right things. There's no way they're going to start Drake Maye week 1. First off, as I talked about with some of the other ones, right? How you call the game is they're calling the game like they don't trust him. As our how do you say the first one? He's a regular Addy
M27.
Addy M27. He's got a good feel for that. Shows some little flashes, sure, but the consistency on the throws is all over the place, right? I know you didn't get to see a lot of this game, but even his throwing motion in general, he has throws where he pauses, he stops, he doesn't know if he should throw it. Yeah. He left the pocket and got in bad spots in the pocket a few times. He's reluctant to throw the ball. Did you hear me? He's reluctant to throw the ball because he doesn't know where it's going to go. So if it's a tight window, he doesn't want to let it go. There's things like where I would show you Jayden Daniels or Caleb Williams or Bo Nix, and I'd go, see, they'll throw that. And it'll be the same play for Drake Maye, and he goes, I'm going to run. I don't know. I don't trust myself there. So those are the things that concern me. And like I said, the way you call the game is also, 3rd and 11, he's got a chance to do something. They call a screen. Hey, we're at the goal line and the 2-yard line. Let's see him throw and do something because we haven't seen a lot of throws. Oh, they run him in. It's always something like that. And then, even what I would say so far in his NFL career, he's had one legit NFL throw. and that would be the in-cut completion he had to his left side on the first drive of the game the other night. The lob out of bounds down the sidelines, again, people go, oh, I want to go. It's a lob. Any good high school quarterback in America can lob the ball and do that, right? The post route, hey, you see a little of the potential, right? But again, here's the signs of I know it's not going great because we have to overblow the throw, right? I made fun of McCourty after the game. Oh, it's a beautiful post route. What? The guy had a dive and it was a wobbler. Like the guy had an all-out Superman dive. But because our expectation of him right now is low, we're going, that was beautiful. So, do you know what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
And I know I sound like I'm being really harsh and a hater on him a little bit.
And people
some
might
of that's
think
because I get sick of the media and what they say.
Overhyping him.
Overhyping it just because he's the third pick.
Well, and you were lower on him than most.
I was,
but
right.
I will say that everyone else out there eventually got to the point where, like, this guy needs to sit and watch for a while. And so they wouldn't say they were low on him, but just saying that for a top 5 pick, you're saying that there are concerns here. There are things he needs to work through.
He definitely does. I'm saying right now, yes, I'm not sitting here going, oh, he's ready. And here we go, like I said with Caleb or Jayden, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm going, no, this is a little like concerning. He's definitely not ready. And with the way they're calling the game would also tell me they know he's not ready and they're concerned as well. They don't want to do too much with him because they're afraid of what he could do. Yeah. That would be my overall feel.
Here's the good thing for the Patriots. They're not even close.
No.
They're not even close to competing.
They don't need to rush it or put him in there. You're exactly right.
So it's like they do have time. The benefit of time. He's got a big arm. He's got some people that believe in him.
I'm not even sure he wants to be out. I wouldn't even if I was advising him and I was like in his corner, I'd be like, I kind of hope they start Jacoby. Like who's the good receiver? My Drake Maye would be working with.
Yeah.
Can they run the ball? Are they gonna be able to protect this year? Right. There's some things about this team where I'd go, they need to get that figured out before they even think about putting him.
Seen
there.
it with Mac Jones, right? A quarterback with some ability that lost his confidence, and then now where is he? Back up elsewhere.
Jacoby is plenty good. We know, like you said it right. This is a year of take a step back so they can take 2 steps forward next year, build the team, get it in the right place. Hopefully Drake Maye can work behind the scenes there a little bit. It was better than game 1, don't get me wrong, but the bar was low. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just telling you things about what I see in the pocket, what I see with his mechanics throwing, and then the actual throws themselves that I just go, that doesn't look the way it should look. And that's all I'm trying to say.
A lot of jerks do say that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a jerk, and then they are a jerk. But I get what you're saying. But I will say, too, with Devin McCourty, he did a great job on the broadcast.
He's
you pick
great.
out that one play.
No, I know, yeah. I just had to give him a hard time.
He was really smooth. I texted him afterwards. I was like, man, studio, booth, is like you can do both of them.
He's smooth as can be.
Yeah.
Right. It's a good 3. Him and Zolak and his brother.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. Both games really have. But, yeah, I had to give him a little bit of like, you're gonna, he's gonna drink not the tea, the soup. What the hell do they call it?
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
That's the thing I was
whatever
thinking
they
of.
serve.
Yeah,
whatever the craps
he's
are serving.
drinking.
Well, that's what you have to do on those preseason broadcasts, though. It's like you are hired at the behest of the team.
There's
right?
no doubt about that.
And
you
they are
be
watching.
careful.
Yes.
That's right. They are listening and watching.
So Drake Maye maybe not ready for prime time. You know who is? It looks like Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Balsley tweets us, says, Bo Nix wrapping up the weekend against the Packers. The precision passing capped off with a touchdown was amazing to watch. Even when he stepped over the line for the first touchdown, the playmaking during it was promising.
Agreed. He said it right at Balsley. All right. I mean, first off, he won the starting quarterback job, in my opinion, right there. I would be shocked if we don't hear in the next few days where Sean Payton just goes, Bo Nix is our starter. We've liked what we've seen. We're going with it, right? It's 2 big-time performances in a row. Again, back to our Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, Drake Maye conversation. Look how they called the game for Bo Nix. There's no limitations. Checks, do this, do that. Every play, we don't care. You can handle it, right? Has a different feel from the Drake Maye thing. Has a feel already of like a guy that you're going like, wow. I mean, he seems like he's, in control of the offense, really knows what Sean Payton wants to do all of that, right? So that's the beauty of that. Number 1 is that he's going to be able to handle the genius of Sean Payton and all he can throw at the quarterback. Secondly, how could you not like the physical tools? Again, everybody underestimated Bo Nix's ability with his arm, He can throw, like you saw the in-cut he threw to the right. You've seen some of the throws running to the left along the sideline. His arm is really good. I'm not saying it's as strong as Caleb Williams or maybe even Jayden Daniels, but it's not that far off, right? And then you see the playmaking. He's a really great athlete. As we said during the draft process, other than Caleb scrambling behind the line of scrimmage to find a throw, Bo Nix is the best in this class at doing it. And you've seen that twice so far. His ability to, Sean Payton, it's 372 Y6 Z spot. Okay, I got it. They rolled to cover 2. Okay, I got to play this side. Okay, boom, boom, boom. He knows what he's looking at. His body's in the right position. His mechanics are great. The ball comes out quick. The ball comes out exactly where he wants it to go. More times than not, it's almost always hitting the bullseye. He's got an extremely quick release, so he can do all the stuff Sean Payton wants, and then when Sean Payton's play doesn't work, he can go, all right, we'll go be Bo Nix. I saw you do it at Oregon. Make a play. Scramble. Do something. And we're seeing that. And that, to me, definite starter, just like Jayden Daniels. And, it was cool to see the other night. He's a little different than Caleb. It's not as flashy. It's surgical. He's going to do it that way. Right? He's going to he's open by half an inch. I can throw it right here on his shoulder
Which is
and
what
put it where you want.
We saw at Oregon, right? He was surgical. It was almost,
it's Drew Brees-ish.
Exactly.
He's Drew Brees Jr.
So here's the question.
Yeah.
Can he actually lead all rookies in passing yards if he does win the starting job? So DraftKings has the rookie pass yards leader odds.
Yep.
And right now, Caleb Williams is the favorite, minus 120. Then you got Jayden Daniels. But Bo Nix, third choice currently. Plus 450 gives you some value.
I would take I honestly, and I think Jayden Daniels is awesome. I think with this right here, I would favor Bo Nix over Jayden Daniels as the year goes on. Jayden might early in the year, but what I worry about with the Washington team is the O-line, lack of a running game, right? To where they just don't have enough offense and things to consistently be great on that side of the ball, I guess is what I worry about. Bo Nix, with Sean Payton and what he does there, right? I mean, he could put up some numbers here. I wouldn't be surprised by that. I wouldn't. The Jayden Daniels one is the hard one just because, they might not be very good. Their defense might not be very good. It might be lead to him throwing the ball a lot, but it also might be, hey, they're not very good. They can't protect very good. They can't run very good, and people are just ready for them to throw and do some of their Cliff Kingsbury stuff, and they're all over it. So I don't know where that goes, but the Bo Nix one, if you got an extra few dollars in your couch cushions or something, that'd be the one I'd throw my money at with right there.
Plus 450. Good value there, too. DraftKings Sportsbook. See, this is the first week back right here.
Get out of France. Get the Parlez-vous Français out of your mouth. Right?
DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet touchdowns, and new customers can bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly, plus get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium.
Wow. Get NFL Plus Premium? All right. Download the app. Use the promo code Unbuttoned when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Oof. All right. We'll get this.
Damn.
We'll get this.
Damn.
What if they're not a sponsor?
You're like the veteran who hasn't been at training camp for 3 weeks. We gotta.
But it doesn't take me long.
We do it together all the time. Damn you.
It doesn't take me long to get back into shape, though. So next week I'll be going and be like, you never even missed one workout.
I need to send you over the corner and do some up-downs for messing that up right there.
All right, the wowometer continues here.
Yeah.
We go to Daniel Jones. A lot of comments from the homies. I almost feel like I should just read all the comments here.
Yeah, go ahead. Read them. You want to read
Sloppy
them all?
Joe Namath
I don't know.
says, Daniel Jones gave me a roller coaster of reactions. 1 second, I think he's got a long way to get back to form. The next second, he throws a deep ball with perfect touch to Slayton. Buckle up. Could be a long season, but a fun one. And then Jim D says, Daniel Jones wasn't good early, but played much better after the first few series. Do you think he was shaking off the rust? So what do you think of Daniel Jones leading your New York Giants?
Well, yes, he is knocking off the rust. I mean, let's not forget that. He's coming off an ACL injury.
I feel his pain.
Right. Yeah. He's coming off the ACL injury. He didn't play last week, so it's been a little bit before he played, right? We know Daniel Jones has the physical ability to be really good, But it's some of the things we saw in the game that you go, no, are we going to get this Daniel Jones? Is that what's going to happen? I think the thing, and producer Matt Casey heard me say, you might have heard me say before the show, I said this to Flory the other day, I'm mad at Daniel Jones that he gave WFAN and Boomer and Geo and everybody on sports talk radio up here, which is still a huge thing in the New York area, of, hey, what the is Daniel Jones still our quarterback? I can't believe we can't find anybody else here for the Giants to be the quarterback. You know what I mean? That's what he did. And that's where, as a quarterback, you kind of got to know your reputation or what's being said about you and all of that. You know, it'd be one of those, he would have been better off going 1 for 10 with no interceptions rather than having the few plays that look good and having those 2 picks, especially the pick 6, right? It just adds to the fuel to the fire. Right? The interception pick 6 was horrible. You know, nobody was open. He wanted to originally throw the ball in the flat thinking, wait, I can get rid of it and throw in the flat. And then he was like, oh, wait, that guy's pretty covered. So then I think he thought, oh, wait, I'll throw it somewhere else. And then it was too late and he was being tackled. Then he was like, oh, shit, I need to throw it away somewhere. Oh, the guy in the flat. And it's like, well, no, you just looked at him. He was covered, remember? And he threw it out there and got an easy pick 6. But that's going to add to the negative aura around him and here with New York Giants and all of that. And that's where you got to have a little feel for that. And, there'd been one where I know we want to be aggressive and make plays, but you got to tell your quarterback to be smart too. And, that hurt. The second interception wasn't as bad. I just didn't like it wasn't the appropriate throw. He tried to, just throw a line drive right at the guy's head. It's Derek Stingley over there. He's got good ball skills, right? Throw it deep and let Darius Slayton run and get it. Or if you felt like, Stingley was all over him and going to undercut him, throw a back shoulder and stop him. But instead he just tried to put it on him. So they did bother me. The first one, though, egregious. He did make some good plays after that. I get it. He is knocking off the rust. Let's see what he looks like in week 3. Yeah. But, that first one, not going to do him any favors all week long.
If you want a positive, though, and you're a Giants fan, Brian Burns has looked pretty good.
Yes, he has. Brian Burns, I thought, popped quite a bit in the football game. He's one of those guys, when he comes off the line of scrimmage, you just go, ooh, he's the first guy off the ball all the time, right? He's got some really explosive moves, whether it's just dipping his shoulder or the spin move. But, I thought, he had a few plays in the game that were very impressive. I'm a little concerned about their middle linebacker, McFadden. It looked like he might have pulled the groin muscle or something like that. He's a good player. That hurts the G-men. But, all in all, hopefully that knocks the rust off a little bit. We got to see Neighbors, and Neighbors is, again, I think going to be a superstar. I do. He dropped the ball that he probably should have caught. He tried to kind of one-hand it. Had a few other great catches as well. But, hopefully this is the start of some explosive plays for the Giants and this wide receiving core.
No quarterback controversy here, at least yet. Daniel Jones the guy, Drew Lock not the guy, Tommy DeVito not the guy, at least yet.
Right.
There is a quarterback controversy, perhaps, in Pittsburgh. At least we don't know who the quarterback's going to be yet.
Yeah.
Mike Titan 1 says Russell Wilson looked uncomfortable and unprepared to play a game. Fields had his flashes, but he wants the starting job so bad he is trying to be Superman on every play. What do you think of the two of them and what you saw yesterday?
I get our thoughts there. I don't want to overly judge Russell Wilson. It is his first game. And again, like we talked about, some of these teams are very simple with what they do. I watched the film yesterday. I wasn't like, oh my, again, back to like Caleb Williams and his first 3 and outs. I wasn't like, oh man, there's people open. He's really messing up here, right? I mean, first off, the pass protection was horrible. Broderick Jones got his butt whooped in the game, which is concerning.
That's a problem.
Right? Yeah, I mean, he's the first-round pick from 2 years ago. You're expecting him to be a little bit more dominant, certainly, but Gregory Rousseau was all over him that way.
He's playing a lot of snaps, too, which indicates like the team, Tomlin and everyone think
they need him. They need to play, right?
He needs some work,
right? And I think they would love to probably put him at left tackle and then move Troy Fontenot, the first-round pick this year from Washington, at right tackle. But he's a little banged up right now, so they've had to make these adjustments here. We'll see where it goes. But I didn't think, it was a lot there to be had for Russell Wilson. Hey, he still can throw the ball well, but I think at the end of the day, too, what's different here is the pass protection was shitty for Justin Fields as well, and he could make something happen when it was like that. Right? I'm going to sit here and tell you at Mike Titan 1 and all of that, and I said this to Florio today, as it stands and looks right now, I would play Justin Fields. He would be my starter. Now, I know they're probably going to go another week here before they do anything, and they're going to give Russell Wilson one more shot. I get that. But I don't think they're overly talented at receiver, right? Their O-line is good, going to be better, but as we can see, a little bit work in progress, right? I think they're going to need the Justin Fields playmaking ability to help their offense out. You know, his ability to run, quarterback design run, or scrambles is going to help their O-line up, right? It's his ability to run is going to help Najee Harris. It's going to help George Pickens get some favorable matchups on the outside because they're going to be like, oh, it's 2nd and 3. They might run that quarterback design run, and now he's one-on-one with a safety low and whatever else. So that's where I look at it. And I'll say this too. I think the way the Steelers want to play fits more of what Justin Fields is anyways, right? You know, Arthur Smith, that's why he had Marcus Mariota there in Atlanta for a little bit and all that. Hey, quarterback design run. Hey, run it up the middle again. Oh, boot. We got Justin Fields on the edge. He can run or throw. Okay, run it up the middle. Okay. Oh, they're creeping up towards the line of scrimmage. Justin Fields will throw a deep ball down the field. That, to me, feels like how they want to play. And then they'll rely on their defense, and he'll make a few scrambles and make a play and keep the clock going. I think that, let alone, I think Justin Fields will lay it on the line. I know that to our comment about Superman, sometimes he could be a little too Superman. You know, he missed the throw down the middle of the field, the post route. I get it. He also should have been sacked like 3 other times and didn't get sacked and made something happen. So you got to take the good, the bad with Justin Fields. He's not going to always be precise and surgical like we say,
right.
But I do feel like Justin Fields will do everything to win a football game. He will lay it on the line. And I believe he gives an energy to that team that Russell Wilson can't supply. And yeah, I guess Russell Wilson's not the magic guy he once was.
He was better last year than he was 2 years ago.
Definitely, no doubt about that. Definitely
so he's not totally washed.
Yes,
yeah.
he's not washed. I don't want to say that.
And while Fields does give the running and some of that ability, better than maybe any other quarterback in the NFL, like some of the stuff he can do.
Right.
He can't give some of the pinpoint passing. Not to say that Russ always does that, but I think to
Russ
a higher
is a better thrower.
And there are times when the Steelers are going to need that.
Yes.
And I've said this before the hiatus and everything. I was like, man, they got to figure out a way to use them both. And I know that never works, right? It's like you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks, and but I don't know. It's just like both of these quarterbacks are in points in their career where they've been passed over, where maybe some sort of mashup between the two of them could work.
I think one's hungry and wants it and wants to show everybody. I think the other one's not sure what he is anymore. That's that would be my read. And again, I don't know that. I'm just going off of my gut and whatever. And hey, to your point, you're not wrong. Russell Wilson's a better thrower than Justin Fields. But I don't think it's by enough in that category to cancel out all the other things, right? If it was like, hey, you know, man, Russell Wilson throws the ball like, Caleb Williams or somebody like that, I'd go, well, they gotta play him. Like, It's just too special. He's too much better in that department to not play him. It's not enough in this department to make up for now all the other things we just rattled off for Justin Fields and his advantages there. And the other thing with Russell too, even though he's a better thrower, Russell is more reluctant to throw the ball into tight windows the last few years, right? We made some videos on social media and stuff where I showed it, remember 2 years ago and all that, where he's a little too worried about making the mistake instead of just letting it fire, right? And that's what I worry about, and that's where I do think Fields can give them a little bit more of an edge than Russell Wilson at this time.
And to bring it full circle, if they can't protect for him, Russell showed in the past couple of years, like he needs protection.
He's not the same old Seattle Seahawks Russell Wilson.
He's watching that rush more than most quarterbacks out there. And so if they can't protect, then it maybe just is Fields.
That was part of the reason why I said, I'm with you there, Ahmed.
Gardner Minshew, Aidan O'Connell. We got another quarterback controversy. Actually, not anymore. It's over, but I'm sure it still lives on. Eric Draven says, how did Minshew beat out O'Connell? So Antonio Pierce says it's going to be Gardner Minshew's job.
I'm not shocked by this, right? This is not like a surprise. I guess I was surprised they said it yesterday and brought the news out. I didn't know if they'd wait a few more days or maybe see another game. Because it's not like Gardner Minshew blew us away on Saturday night, was that Saturday night? Yeah, Saturday night.
Yeah.
He threw for 48% in the game. So it wasn't like, oh, he took over the game and he put the stamp on the starting quarterback job, right? No, I don't think it's that at all. I think it's just a big picture of the football team. One, hey, they've paid him pretty good money. He's getting me $10+ million, right? So they're financially encouraged to play him that way. Two, right? It's another offense. It's year 2 for Aidan O'Connell. He's learning another offense. The veteran always has the advantage in that, right? Gardner Minshew's been around the league. He's been a part of a few offenses. He knows how the NFL works. He knows the rules of some of these things, or been in an offense similar to what he's in with Luke Getsy right now, so he can go, wait, oh, yeah, it was this in that offense, so it's like this. Okay, I got it, right? Aidan O'Connell's probably like, wait, this is totally different than what Josh McDaniels taught last year. What the am I signing the huddle now, right? So there's that. The veteran always has the advantage in training camp. They know how to training camp practice, right? Mm-hmm. They're good. Like, they'll notice the veteran knows how to, make practice look good. The veteran knows, like, the safety. I saw him check to that yesterday. I know what that check is. All right, so I'm going to hit this guy here, right? Those are things like the veterans are slick. Where Aidan O'Connell's coming to the line of scrimmage like, wait, what's the play I called in the huddle there? Hold on, I'm still trying to figure it. So I'm not shocked by Gardner Minshew and any of that, let alone I think this is probably the right approach anyways for your football team, right? It's your first year as a full-time head coach. You want to get off to a good start in your schedule and everything like that. Do you want to throw out Aidan O'Connell right away on the road? They're on the road the first 2 weeks of the year in Los Angeles against the Chargers and then the Baltimore Ravens. I think with that, you trust Gardner Minshew, right? Their offense, we're not sure how good they're going to be. Gardner Minshew does have a little bit more off-schedule playmaking ability than Aidan O'Connell, right? They got a new running back. Their O-line's certainly questionable, so they might need that ability too, right? So that's where I go. I'm not surprised that it is Gardner Minshew, but I will say, Ahmed, one more thing.
Yeah.
That I don't think his leash is, like, real long here. I don't think this is like, oh, yeah, he won the job, and now we're going to ride him to the Super Bowl.
A good chance we see Aidan O'Connell at some point this year.
I don't think it's crazy thought. Again, they're a team here where they're not in the Super Bowl window. I told Ford today I thought they might even trade Devontae Adams this offseason and try to acquire some big assets here because they know they're not going to win it this year and try to build for the future. But, yeah, I could see that. Hey, there's things about Aidan O'Connell that he definitely does better than Gardner Minshew. Aidan O'Connell plays big in the pocket. He plays tough in the pocket. He is not as scared to throw the ball and push the ball into some tight windows with people around him, and he can do things like that Gardner Minshew can't. I don't know if you saw Antonio Pierce when he said they're going to go with Gardner Minshew, and he named some of the things, and he said his playmaking ability and experience, of course, and all that. But he also said in that, he's like, sometimes he leaves the pocket, and it's like 1 and 2 are open. He's got to let it rip. That's one of the problems with Gardner Minshew a little bit, right? It's a little bit like you've heard me say in the past. Like, you'll watch a game, he knows how to manage the game and do that, but you go back and watch him film and you go, oh, he should have thrown that. I know he scrambled for 5 there, but that guy was open. Or, like, damn, he should have hung in the pocket here and thrown this ball. Oh, he was a little off target, but he was kind of fading away or whatever. There's stuff like that about his game that you always go, And we saw that on Saturday night. That's why he was 10 for 21. But Aidan O'Connell is young. And I think it is better to go with the Gardner Minshew type and all of that. And then if it doesn't work out,
right,
Aidan O'Connell can come on with his cape and they can be like, hey, come on, young guy, you're ready. And, I think if they can have the team in the right spot, he can, maybe show us from there. But, yeah, I don't think this is done yet.
Gives you some hope moving forward. Aidan O'Connell, 4 years at Purdue, was a very good quarterback for them. Speaking of Big Ten schools, Big Ten football nearly upon us, and that means the return of Big Talk with Todd and Noah. Todd Blackledge and Noah Eagle take you through the latest news and analysis surrounding the Big Ten. The first episode of the new season drops tomorrow.
Wow.
August 20th. How about that? Okay. You can find it at youtube.com/NBC Sports or wherever you get your podcasts. Now we go to What the F is Happening. And Matt Casey, who is our producer, notes here in our rundown, these need to be quick hitters here. Yep. And so I think they are quick thoughts on all these teams.
This is AKA don't make this podcast an hour and 40
Which
minutes.
I was so your podcast alone was like an hour.
Yeah.
And I think with Connor was like a little over an hour. Maybe I'm the problem.
No.
What if I've been the problem this whole time?
Well, it's you and me have banter, and like we're so comfortable that I go down wormholes sometimes with you that I wouldn't with other people.
Yeah, we need
Let
an editor.
alone Connor had to cut it off because he had to go do Matthew Berry shit.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Which I threw a challenge flag. I was like, has Matthew Berry even left his house yet? Like, why are we worried about, but either way, that's part of the reason.
I got nothing else to do, but everyone in the control room has things they have to do.
Yeah,
apparently.
they're like, shut up, let's go.
But we can handle this in quick hitter form here. So let's start with the Falcons, because you are very surprised about how they're dealing with the Michael Penix quarterback situation here.
Shocking. Shocker of the weekend. I mean, first off, are you kidding me? Like, my mind went in so many different places with this one. The first place my mind went to is, wait, are they worried about Kirk Cousins and his available health status for week 1, right? That would be to me the only reason you would not play Michael Penix, okay? Is that, oh, wait, our starter, we're not sure. He's not totally himself. So we don't want to risk Michael Penix getting hurt, and now we're on to Taylor Heineke. That, to me, is the only logic. The logic of we saw enough in the first preseason game, that is absolutely insane, right? You heard me say before that we've never seen this in the history of football. A top 10 pick, and we just go, well, preseason game 1 was good. We don't need to see the rest of the preseason. Who needs that?
Well, especially when you're seeing this as a year where he might not play that much at all. And
These
this is
are
one of the
valuable
rare
reps.
opportunities where he could get some reps.
Exactly right. That's the development is key. I know he did good things in week 1 against Miami in the preseason. I get that. But it still was like training wheel stuff. It was simple stuff, right? It's not the same variety of offense he's going to run here in the NFL season. So, but why wouldn't you want to get him oiled up and greased up to where if Kirk Cousins turns his ankle week 3 and go, man, Michael Penix, we played him a lot in the preseason. He's ready to go. That makes no sense to me at all. Like a shocking thing right there. Right. And my Florio was like, well, maybe they won't want him to do too good so they don't have to talk about Cousins and Penix and all of that. Right. But I don't even know if I buy that. I understand that. But I don't buy that. Again, the greater good is to get your guy reps and get him going and see, what he's capable of getting better at, what he needs to work on in general, whatever. Yeah. And they didn't do that. That, to me, was the head scratcher of the weekend.
Well, and there are so many people that are like, why'd you take him, that you'd almost want to throw him out there and shows like, hey, we got 2 good quarterbacks still. It's just like prove that you took a good quarterback. And at the end of the day, that's better to have 2 good ones than none, but we didn't see either one of them play. How about the Chiefs?
Yeah.
You watch them play my Detroit Lions. Lip Smacklin Good says, welcome back, Ahmed. And as a Chiefs fan since Joe Montana, I mean, this is Patrick's world. Behind the back pass, he did it in a preseason game at least.
They're hilarious. You can't miss them no matter what. Here's my big question, and you heard me say this too before the pod. Why the is it that the Chiefs are acting like they've never won a Super Bowl and they're getting ready with a chip on their shoulder, and the rest of the NFL is like, we've won 7 Super Bowls. We don't want to play our guys. They're just so battle-tested and hardened. And I've said this before. The fact that they weren't that good last year and still won the Super Bowl, I think gives them more of an edge this year. I do, because I think they're going to look back at film. Andy Reid's going to be able to look at it and go, we sucked at this last year. You guys got to be better this year. What the hell? Sorry, I might have spit on you there.
That's all right.
All right. So all of that, let alone, like, they want to be great. I do believe they want to be the first team ever to win 3 in a row, right? Even if he doesn't get to 7 to catch Brady, he could still go, hey, I won 3 in a row. You didn't, right? I mean, that's a special, special thing. So I understand that they're attacking it. But, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for they got Xavier Worthy going. Mahomes looks great. The most encouraging thing about them is their O-line looks really good. Really good. And the behind-the-back pass, I mean, we knew it was only a matter of time. We knew it. Incredible. And they're fun to watch.
So you were shocked that the Ravens, Browns, Eagles, Lions are not playing their starters here. And in my attempt to always defend my Detroit Lions
please
here,
do.
I'll throw a challenge flag. Right. Because I'll go back to last preseason.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes played a couple games. Kelsey played a couple games. McDuffie, Karlaftis played a couple games. Lions last year preseason.
Yeah.
Goff played 0 snaps.
Right.
Amon-Ra, 0.
Right.
Aiden Hutchinson, 0. Penei Sewell, 0. Frank Ragnow, 0.
Yeah,
David Montgomery, 0. And the Lions went into Kansas City week 1.
Right.
And
won
did
the
beat
game.
the Chiefs
They did.
21-10.
I get you. There was, now, within that too, right? You know, I will say Travis Kelce didn't play. Kadarius Toney probably dropped 4 passes for about 150 yards, let alone he went and just gave one of your guys the ball to return for a pick 6 for like 70 yards, right? So there were some things there. But I understand what you're saying. I totally get you. You know, it's not right for everyone. I get it. And listen, if I was in the NFC, maybe my approach would be a little bit more like that, right? You guys are kind of like, we know you're the cream of the crop in the NFC. We know that. The Chiefs, on the other hand, and this is where I think I'm a little more urgent about the other teams in the AFC, like Ravens. Like, really? You don't want to play a few more of your guys here? Browns? Like, really? You don't want to get ready? Right? Even the Bengals, they didn't play any of their guys in week 2. They did in week 1. I just want to be like, the team that's dominating the league is going to be ready in week 1. Right? I mean, the Chiefs seem to know, wait, we play the Ravens and the Bengals week 1 and 2. We know that home field advantage could come down to those 2 matchups right there. So they're going to be ready. And that's where I'm a little surprised. I am a little surprised by that in general. And, the chip I see from the Kansas City Chiefs on them is pretty damn real for a team that's, the Chiefs.
C.J. Stroud, 7 of 10, 88 yards. What'd you think of the Texans and him?
The Texans are taking the approach I'm talking about. They're going, wait, it's the AFC. This shit's real. And we know we got a bullseye on our back this year because we stuck up on everybody. So they're kind of taking we're going to be ready week 1. We're not going to be like, oh, it's the 3rd week of the year and we finally feel like we're rounding into shape, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you got the time like that in the AFC this year. You start out 2-3, you might be going, well, damn, we're 2-3, and the Chiefs are 5-0. We've already lost the number 1 seed. It's over, right? I mean, so that's where I love it. And then the most machine thrower I've ever seen in my life. He never misses a throw. If it's a spot to hit it, he hits it. All right? He might not be as sexy as a Caleb Williams or a Mahomes all the time. It's more Burrow, like we talk about. It's absolute perfection in mechanics. It's absolute perfection spiral. It's absolute perfection location and feel for the game within the pocket. I mean, C.J. Stroud's a star among stars.
Your love continues to grow.
You know that.
You love Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Bills will be in it as long as they have Josh Allen.
What?
Lost Matt Milano, though.
Holy cow.
Bicep tear.
Yeah. I mean, out indefinitely. Big. I mean, what do we talk about with the Bills all the time? They don't have enough difference-making players. This is their biggest difference maker. I mean, he's the man. It kills them. It kills them. And what does that do now? Puts more pressure on Josh Allen again to have to make up for that. But, yeah, I worry about that in the Bills in general. You know that they just don't have enough difference. They're coached well. They got a lot of good. They got splash, I can take over a moment of the game guy. And that they don't have, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, they had so many injuries last year on defense and still were very good on defense.
Yeah.
So they can figure it out.
They can figure it out.
After a while, you're just like, man,
I know.
Why do we got to keep testing that theory?
Right.
The Miami Dolphins should be contenders once again. What have you thought of them so far?
1, they're awesome. 2, their offense is so advanced that even when they're being basic and simple, you're like, this is trigonometry. I mean, like compared to some of the other teams we watch in football, it's so basic. And then basic for the Dolphins is like, zoom, 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 set HUD. Oh, this guy went that way. I don't know what's going on, but they got a completion, and this is fun to watch. I mean, that's what's crazy. They're basic as everybody else's complexity. Tua looked as good as I ever seen Tua look. Ever. His body, his legs, his footwork.
You're just talking physically.
And his arm.
Okay.
And an arm. It all looked better, right? Hey, they're another team that I think they probably got to look at it and go, wait, our defense might not be as good this year. They got a bunch of injuries, right? The Bradley Chubb, the Jalen Phillips stuff. They might have some young guys on the edge, all of that. They lost some people in free agency. Christian Wilkins is in there. They got to be a little bit like, hey, we might have to outscore people. Our offense might need to be great. And then Tua, of course, knowing, hey, everybody's looking at me. I'm making $53 million a year and all that. It looks like he's ready to answer the bell and shut people like me up.
There's a new video that's out. Matt Casey just alerted me to. We don't get into it now, but apparently Tua was talking to Dan Le Batard.
Yeah.
And talked about Brian Flores.
Right.
And that he told him he sucked and didn't belong on the Dolphins.
Wow. Damn,
So
that's harsh.
That'll be something to get into at a later date. So perhaps it's best that those two are not no longer together.
I would say that would end the relationship.
Yeah, and that would make things difficult, right? Yeah, I don't think my head coach believes in me. If you hear that from your head coach,
right. Let alone they were trying to trade for Deshaun Watson for like a year straight.
Multiple signs, multiple indications.
Right.
The most being that he said I sucked. The Jaguars. They were not good last year. I wouldn't say they sucked last year, but they were way worse than they should have been.
Fell apart at the end of the year, right? Got to get back on the wagon here. I think the talent of the team is there. The running back Tank Bigsby is, man. He and Sean Tucker of the Bucks, right? The Syracuse kid
that
we talked about 2 years ago in the draft. They, to me, are the two running backs that have caught my eye more than anybody in preseason. So those two, I just want to give them some love there. Tank Bigsby, though, man, him with ETN, watch out. Mac Jones, one of the stars of the weekend. This offense fits Mac Jones more than the New England offense does, right? This is West Coasty. This is a little bit more rhythm, timing, anticipation. Listen to my feet, right? He was when the offense in New England, it's a little bit more like what they wanted Brady to do. They didn't talk about drops and stuff like that. It's like, hey, when you see that guy get open, be ready to fucking throw the laser over there and get him open. That's not who Mac Jones is. He's not Mr. Laser Thrower guy, right? We talked about it. He's more Drew Brees-ish. Kirk Cousins, surgical, doing that type of stuff. That's where I think this offense really fits him. He looked really good, and I'm happy for that.
Good for him. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I agree.
That was a raw deal that seemed to have a defensive coordinator being your head coach on offense is not ideal. Hendon Hooker, my Detroit Lions. You had in your notes, you said Hendon Hooker, wow. Was that a good wow or was that a bad wow?
It was a good wow.
Okay, good.
It was a good wow. He missed the first throw of the day, which was like a wide open crosser. But after that, he really settled in and he started to let the ball go. First thing with Hendon Hooker is, wow, does he look good? Right? He looks how you want a quarterback to look in the pocket. He's big. He's got a great base. He's always in throwing, like perfect throwing position, right? Threw the ball well, moves better than I even thought he moved at Tennessee. I always knew at Tennessee, I was always like, hey, he runs better than people realize. It's even better than I thought there. And, he is big. He has control of the football, right? We'll see where he continues to grow. I would hope he could become the backup here this year at some point. And maybe that's another strong showing in preseason game number 3, and he can do that because, I have my concerns about Nate Sudfeld, but that was damn good for Hendon Hooker in his first real extended time of playing.
Lions will play the Rams Sunday night, week number 1. Speaking of backup quarterbacks, would it be crazy for them to go into the season with Stetson Bennett as their backup?
Absolutely crazy. There's no way they can go into the season with him as the backup. They are really risking it. With Matthew Stafford, let's just say his hamstring gets tight in week 1. You got to go out with him. Stetson Bennett, he's done some good things again. Don't get me wrong. But it is not worthy of being the backup. 6 turnovers in 2 preseason games? That's insane. As I said to Florio the day, right? If I did that with John Gruden, he would have wrapped me up and FedEx me to Bangladesh. He'd be like, what? 6 turnovers in preseason games? We're playing against the third stringers. Like, what are you doing? He literally would be like, get out of my face. I don't want to see you. We're trying to trade you for a box of yogurt over there. Like, literally. So that's where I'm like, no way. No way. They're going to have to figure something out there. They could really hurt themselves in the first 2 weeks if they have to go with Stetson Bennett. That's
How weird would that be? Like someone in Bangladesh just opens up a box and Chris Sims
is there.
Holy
shit, there's a big blonde human in here.
He must have thrown a few picks.
Yeah.
Did you throw some picks?
What did he do? Yeah, you're right. They opened it up. Yeah, exactly. Did you throw some picks? Gruden sent boxes here before.
We got to see Trey Lance throw the ball 23 times.
Yeah.
Completed 15 of them for 151 yards for the Dallas Cowboys. He featured for them. What'd you think?
It was better than week 1. It was improvement, which is something. More decisive. The control of the football was better and made some real power throws. Again, they were simple, but I thought he just overall, the timing, what he saw on the field and his throwing motion was more consistent. And it ended up in being more consistent results than week 1. So good for him to make the improvements.
We got one more question for you. This one comes from Justin R. Carter 19. Is there a future where Sam Howell takes Geno's job in Seattle?
Well, I think only if things go bad, right? I don't think this is one where it's like a close battle right now. Sam Howell, I like some of the things he does. You know that. He's got a big arm. He's tough. He still has no clock in his head for when people are around him. That would be the thing that concerned me, let alone we know he can also throw the ball into some crazy situations. But if this is a team that's, let's say, 4-3 or 3-4 or 3-5, and they don't feel like Geno, like, yeah, you got a guy here that can play quarterback in the NFL and make some plays. So that's the encouraging thing here.
The concerning thing for him is that he's never had that clock, right? He took a lot of sacks in college.
Exactly
in North Carolina, took a lot of sacks early on in his career in Washington, and it's just like,
yeah, it's got to improve.
Yeah.
It's got to improve. It's too much to overcome all the time, especially when you're not on a good team, right? Yeah. Good teams can't overcome 2nd and 15 and 3rd and 18 all the time. But if he can learn to do some of that stuff, he's certainly got some playmaking ability. One other person I just want to give some love to on the way out the door is Tremaine Burton, right, for the Cincinnati Bengals. He returning the ball. What I see, route running, all of that, he has definitely opened my eyes the first 2 weeks. Like, been very impressed with what I've seen there. After that, that's all I got to say to you.
Jamar Chase replacement, perhaps. Maybe sign that contract real quick. I think with him at Alabama, and I heard Nick Saban talk about him, the talent was always there and the speed was certainly always there. I think it might have been a football maturity.
I think there was some of that. There was some off-the-field stuff, definitely.
Yeah.
And like we said in the process this year a little, if he was there with some of the other Alabama teams, right, and other Alabama quarterbacks they've had in recent past, right, I think he gets drafted like 40 spots higher. He's like an end of the first round talent. Yeah. But because they couldn't throw a ball that well this year, and Milrow, right? Milrow, that's right.
Jalen.
Yeah, Jalen Milrow. Was developing into a passer. I think that hurt Tremaine Burton's ability to kind of show everybody what he had at receiver.
One more thing before we go.
Yeah?
Fantasy season just got better. $1 million better. You can create a private Yahoo Fantasy League or join one and enter the $1 million NBC sweepstakes, Chris.
Plus, earn extra entries to win when players on your fantasy roster score a touchdown during an opening weekend game on NBC or Peacock.
All you got to do is download the redesigned Yahoo Fantasy app or go to NBCSports.com/FantasyMillion to learn more. And with that, we have completed my first preseason podcast.
Official. Welcome back, kid.
We're back. We've played the song. Yep. I've made my mistakes along the way, but we got to the end.
No, you got good. By the end here, we were like Montana and Rice again. We were like Montana and Rice.
And that's why. That's why I didn't want to work out all offseason, just because I knew I'd get it back quickly.
You knew you'd get back in game shape and ready to go.
Exactly.
All right, good. It was good by you. You stumbled a few times.
Yeah.
You didn't say any swear words.
No
disappointed. And I'm disappointed your song was country with no swear words.
Right.
You could do better than that next time.
We'll make another one.
All right, but either way, we're glad to have you back.
Thanks, Chris.
You
Good
are
to
the
be
man.
back.
You are. You know where to find us. We'll be back Wednesday. More football talk. We'll be hitting everything we can think of. There are some rookies. Hey, I surely would like to talk about too with some other positions other than quarterback and receiver and all that. Subscribe, rate, review. You know where to find us. Peace out, homies. Clap it up.
Okay, you have a chance to win $1 million in the NBC sweepstakes on Yahoo Fantasy. Just download the redesigned Yahoo Fantasy app or go to NBCSports.com/FantasyMillion for additional details. What are you waiting for?
Yo, what's up? Thanks for watching, homies. You know it's the off-season, but there's no off-season with Chris Sims Unbuttoned. It's the NFL. It goes all year around, all right? So hit subscribe, please, to hear my thoughts on your favorite team, your favorite quarterback, and, hey, how this season might unfold as we get ready for the 2024 season. We got a better picture, clearer look now that the draft is over, free agency. We know who's playing quarterback for certain teams. So, again, thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies. Check you out soon.